Yes, indeed. So, in the last couple of videos, I believe we've been talking about event handlers in React. All we have to do is find some element that we want to watch for and then add a props to it. Then we'll pass that prop a callback, and then that callback will be invoked at any time that the event occurs. So besides that, you probably see some different syntax for this callback right here. It's something like that we can pass an arrow function to this props instead of just referencing the method like this. So let me show you how to do that. So I'm going to remove this, and I will put this function right here, and then pass the event object as an argument to it. And we will say again, console log event target value. And I'm just going to remove this method right here. Okay, so now we can save it and go back to our browser and test it. I'm going to type something, and you can see that it is working just as it was before. Okay, so now we're going to continue talking about event handlers. So inside of our search input component, we have created an uncontrolled form element. In particular, this input right here is an uncontrolled form element. Capiche? Now, in general, as React developers, we prefer to work with controlled components. Perhaps even just the way you are, you like to work with controlled components. So in this video, we're going to refactor our search input from an uncontrolled element into a controlled element. So first, we're going to do it, and then after that, I'm going to tell you exactly what the difference between the two of them are and why we would prefer controlled elements. All right, so let's get to it. So inside my search input component, at the top of my class, I'm going to initialize a state object. I'm going to say state is an object that has a single property that we will refer to as entry. And this is going to be an empty string. Then inside of here, I will say this dot set state entry is going to be the event target value. Okay, so right now we are initializing our state, and it has a single property called entry that starts off as an empty string. You see where we're going with this, right? And then every single time a user types inside that input, we're going to update our state. So we're going to update that entry property with whatever the current value coming from the input is. And then as a final step on the input, I'm going to say a new prop called value will be equal to this dot state dot entry. All right, so I'm going to save this file, flip back over to the browser, and we're going to see that our components still work the same way as it did before, just the way we want them to. Perfect. So let's type something. Yeah, see, it seems like we don't have any problems. Okay, so now through this, you might have some questions bubbling up to the surface like, wait a minute, why are we using state? Why are we updating state whenever we change the input? And I don't know, why are we passing something called value back into the input? Well, don't worry about that. In the next section, we're going to talk about all of that, and we're going to discuss exactly what the differences are between uncontrolled and controlled elements are. So take a break right here, give your brain a rest. I'll see you on the other side.